Welcome to the Beer Den Podcast. Tonight we'll be drinking Brooklyn Brewery's Brooklyn brand lager.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Beer Den Podcast. My name is Ethan Hoopy.
And I'm Michael LaRoe. So tonight we're drinking Brooklyn brand's lager. We've tried a couple of their beers in the past. They're based out of Utica, New York. So lagers, for those of you who don't know, are typically cold brewed, bottom fermented beers. This one had a nice deep gold color with a slight haze and a good head.
Yeah, it's actually pretty translucent. The foam is kind of an off-white.
Yeah, it stuck to the side of the bottle pretty well. Had good lacing. Aroma-wise, I thought there was a pretty good balance between the hops and the malts. Taste-wise, I felt like it was a little watery.
I felt like it was very watery.
Very watery?
Yeah, we've had several of the Brooklyn Brewery beers, and kind of a consistent theme with all of them is that they are a bit watery for the style of beer that they are.
Yeah. Well, and I think they try to market them more for the beer for the masses. And
yeah,
unfortunately, I feel like their definition of beer for the masses is slightly watered down.
Yeah, kind of mute the overall flavor of the style.
Right.
You know, this is a lager and it comes off very dull.
I thought this wasn't very drying, but it did leave a lingering taste in my mouth afterwards.
I would agree with that.
It was kind of mouth coating. There was a little carbonation to it. Flavor wise, it wasn't anything intense, but there was a slight toasty kind of flavor to it.
Yeah, some malts.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that it's there, but just the wateriness of it, I think, really dulled a lot of the actually good flavors of it. Like, I kind of enjoyed what I could taste.
Mm-hmm.
But it's difficult to like really talk about the flavor when it was just so watered down.
We base everything off of 3 criteria. We have quality out of 50 points, value out of 25, and design out of 25. I scored this at a 27 just because there was nothing super impressive with the flavor. The aroma was kind of average. Visual, there's only so much you can do. I mean, beer is beer.
Yeah.
It all looks like beer.
It didn't look like acid, so...
Yeah, and so what really hurt it for me is just, it was really watery.
Yeah.
This one seemed to be a little bit more watery than others, and again, no flavors really popped. There was nothing that set this apart, and so I had to score it lower.
That's the exact same problem that I had with it. It's not that it's a bad beer. It's just that it doesn't have anything that's necessarily good about it.
It's kind of just bland.
It's bland. I think that there were some very subtle positives, but they're so subtle that you can't. It's difficult to give it points for something that you have to kind of stretch for.
Right.
So yeah, I ended up giving it a 30. And kind of the only reason why I even got that much was just because I didn't hate it. It just wasn't good, if that makes sense. Like,
well,
it's
and
not,
that's where
I don't know.
I would feel bad scoring this higher just because, like, there's other beer out there that has a decent flavor.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just a strong flavor that just isn't like a flavor that I like.
Yeah.
That I feel would score higher than this, whereas this is just mostly, it's watered down. Whatever flavor is there is just so
subtle
and stretched out that I can't justify giving it a higher score. value-wise, this comes in at $8.99 for a 6-pack, so it's very
competitive price.
Yeah, but again, it's since that quality for myself is so low, I ended up giving it a 15 just because $8.99 is a hell of a deal for any beer.
Yeah.
I mean, you could definitely pick up this stuff and have it at your house, and if you wanted to not just have Busch Light or Budweiser or whatever, like here, I have a craft beer in the fridge, but I mean, I wouldn't want to be like, yeah, I wouldn't be writing home, I've got this great beer in the fridge that you guys got to try. It's, oh, you don't want Budweiser, that's all right. There's some Brooklyn Brewery lager in the back.
And I feel like we've said this a lot with like their beers in particular, that they are kind of beer for the masses.
Yeah.
They are unique styles that are just very dulled down. And I think that this just is the exact same thing though, of like, it's a lager, but it's so dulled down that it's nothing special. Yeah, they lost anything special about it.
They almost need to like reverse that and take it like, this is a lager, and then amplify those things that make it a lager.
Yeah. And I think you can still kind of mellow the flavors out without completely taking the flavors away. And I wish that they would kind of like try to rebalance it a little bit more. I find it weird though that it does say that it's in a award-winning flagship brand of the Brooklyn Brewery, like, and it's so just blah, you know. Like, this is an award-winning beer, and I feel like, man, I hate to like shit on it though. Like, it's not. I keep coming back to this idea that it's not bad. It's just not good. Like,
well, and I think it's not that it's bad, but there's a lot better out there.
Yeah. It's just that there's so many other options that if you're looking for a lager, there's other very smooth lagers that you can get that are very accessible. Although you are probably going to pay more for those.
Right.
You're not going to get that $8.99 price for something that has more of a robust flavor. Yeah, and so, I mean, I guess kind of going back to value, I ended up giving it a 14, so 1 point lower than yours. Yeah, I wish that it had a little bit more to the overall flavor. I think this is something, I think they have something here. I just wish that there was more of it.
Yeah. So design-wise, along the lines of the other Brooklyn brand that we've reviewed, I ended up bumping my score up a little bit. I gave this a 15. I like the color scheme on this, green and black.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of gold for it. It's not a description of the beer per se, like what's in the lager.
Yeah, it's not really like a description of the flavor.
But it plays homage to like what this beer in particular is to the brewery.
Yeah.
It does say it's their award-winning flagship brand. The recipe itself is based on pre-Prohibition era lager, but there is no actual description of that. It does have the alcohol content, which is 5.2%. It doesn't have like a can date. Of course, it does have the expiration date on it. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of basic. I like the cleanness of their logo.
Yeah, I actually have always kind of liked their logos because of how clean and almost professional they are.
It's universal across all their beers. Yeah. So they keep that Brooklyn brand, whether it's the brown consistent ale, the Pilsner, this lager, the IPAs. You see that logo and you know, oh, that's Brooklyn Brewery.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool. And then you kind of associate the color with whatever beer it is that you're drinking.
Yeah, if you see the black and green, you know.
Like, that's the lager. What did you end up scoring it, Ethan?
I ended up giving it the exact same score of 15. And basically, yeah, like for the same reason. I think it's an all right design. It's very professional, very clean. The description is kind of a pseudo description. It's more kind of broad what the beer brand means to the brewery, opposed to an actual description of the beer itself, and like its flavors and stuff. So I much rather have some sort of a description as far as like, what's my experience going to be like? It's great that this is a flagship award-winning beer. What is it like? What
Right.
should I be expecting? I think a 15 though it's middle of the road, roughly middle of the road. It's not bad.
Okay. So Ethan scored it at a 59. I scored it at a 57. So that gives us a 58 overall for Brooklyn Brewery's Brooklyn brand lager.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to another Beer Den review.
Don't forget to follow us on social media, links down in the description.
Subscribe, like, and share, and if there are any beers you would like us to try out, leave them in the comments below.
We'll see you on the next episode of the Beer Den Podcast.